This first video, I'll go over why I've decided to start learning Japanese and what methods I've been using so far. So, for context, I'm in my second year of university, and my workload so far has been very manageable. And also because of COVID, I don't really have a lot of stuff going on outside of school. So, at the start of the semester, which was like a month ago, I was looking at like adding a second subject to my total, and I started looking at Japanese history and society, which was like a subject that was somewhat compatible with my schedule. And yeah, also I actually went to Japan for a bit over 2 years ago for like 2 weeks, and that trip was like part of 1 year of psychology that I did, which at like this weird type of school we have in Norway, uh, that you can like go to if you want to like stall on going to university. Um, so after looking at like the fact that I could take a subject that was like related to Japan, and I kind of thought like I liked Japan when I was there. It would be cool to like know the language and know a bit more. So I then started playing a bit more with the ID, and then 31 days ago I decided to download Duolingo and just like look at that and see if Japanese seemed too daunting or if I wanted to give it a go. And just the morning after I downloaded it, I just decided, you know what, I'm gonna commit. I'm gonna do my very best to learn it. And yeah, the first week was a bit like weird. I just spent it hammering away at Duolingo and also tried to do some research about language learning and see like what is out there, what are people saying about it, does it seem hard, how long will it take, those kind of things. After a bit, I found Matt versus Japan, who's talking about this thing called mass immersion. And if you don't know what mass immersion is, it's, and correct me if I'm wrong here, it's basically to expose yourself to the language, that, and watching movies and other types of media, just exposing yourself to the target language as much as possible. After finding that, I just scrambled to find a friend who would like let me borrow his Netflix, and I've been watching every day since I found that. I also changed to only listening to Japanese music, which was a bit weird at first, but now I like it. Like Japanese music is pretty good, and I, it wasn't that. It was kind of weird to start listening to it at first, and a lot of it is anime openings. When you look at Japanese music playlist, I don't know if Japanese actually listen to a lot of anime openings, or well, at least one of them was on the Japanese top 50 list, so I would imagine some do. Uh, Outside of watching Netflix, I've mainly been trying to get like all of the hiragana and katakana down. And for doing that, I've been using Anki and Duolingo. If you don't know what Anki is, you could I don't think I can explain it well, but you can just search for Anki. It's a very good tool. Uh, Duolingo has been like this just introduction to the idea of learning language, and I don't really think it's the best. But what I've been using it mainly for so far, or what the main thing has been learning basic stuff and getting like kind of familiar with the look of certain hiragana and katakana. But right now it's mainly just a way of like looking at how far or how many days I've been doing it. So if I lose the streak now, I'll probably just delete it. So far, I've gone through three Netflix shows. That's Good Morning Call, Akira and Akira, and Scams. I thought Good Morning Call was pretty good, and Akira was like, I felt like it was good, but I didn't understand enough to really understand if it really was good. Scams, I wouldn't really recommend. It was kind of, I don't know what to say. Like, it wasn't that bad, but it wasn't. There wasn't anything in it that made it remember like memorable, to put it that way. Um, I try to get to I aim at getting at least 2 hours of watching videos every day. But and I really struggle to keep up with the story because I don't understand all the words. But I feel like I'm getting more familiar with like common words and phrases and recognizing them more, not completely knowing what all of the things I'm recognizing means. But I think that's part of the process. Judging by like how I've understood the mass immersion approach. I also kind of struggle to get the full 2 hours in whenever I have like somewhat bigger assignments that are due in like a day or three. Then I just kind of end up stalling on doing everything, which I think will get like ironed out if I keep working on it. Um, I think there's also probably a lot of stuff I could be doing better in terms of my learning. But I don't have a lot of experience, obviously, with picking up a new language and a whole new writing system. So if you got any tips, I'd love to hear it in the comments. And if you want to see whenever I do my next update, it'll probably be in a month. Then it would probably be best to subscribe because you'll probably forget about the channel by then.